Good morning. I hope you're all well today. It's changing weather, so some of you will notice in my videos I'm wearing vests because I like to keep my house a little cool, but the weather's changing. So yesterday it was 74 degrees, and today it won't be. But good morning. I'm Marla Copal, and I'm here every day, at least 6 days a week at 8:30 Mountain Time, to just discuss different things that get in our way to be successful, or things that we know but we maybe aren't applying to help ourselves succeed. So I help people with social media marketing and sales skills. I definitely can always help somebody improve a skill, and because sometimes we forget what we have in the toolbox and we need to sharpen it. But today I still want to continue my discussion that I started yesterday on stress. 5 types of stress. So when you look at my YouTube channel, Marla M. Copal, you will find yesterday's video. And we talked about the stress of time and the stress of encountering those that you meet at meetings, events, last minute get-togethers. A lot of people have encounter anxiety. They pre-worry about who they're going to meet and what their impression is going to be, and there's a lot of time wasted on that. So there's definitely some coaching that can be done around that. Well, let's talk about the last 3. The last 3 are equally as stressful, and it's really hard to identify because I think a lot of them blend together. But there's anticipation stress. So when you are starting on a new project, when you are starting to write your book, when you are starting your next class, you try to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and get the event going, but you have a lot of anticipation about it. And you can go to the, oh my gosh, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? Or you could go to, what if this goes right? What if this goes right? But I'll bet you 99.9% of you all go to the what could go wrong. So that anticipation stress is something that you really have to recognize, acknowledge, and then look at what your workaround is going to be for that. And I'm not going to give you a lot of workarounds today, but I do want you to understand that you've got to do some visualization around this. So when people talk about visualization, it's just not all Pollyanna stuff, because you're working against whatever your last experience was. You're working against whatever the history was of a prior event that didn't go quite the way you want. So to visualize what you want this one to be like is not enough. You've got to go through and go, well, yeah, but I resolved that situation, so I already know the solution if that were to occur again. I resolved this situation, and I would know what to do if that occurred again. So visualization, which manages anticipation, does not work if you have not cleaned the house on the other side, which is those things that interfere with your visualization. And that is why anticipation can be a gift or a stressor. So think about it that way and see what you can do to bring into your life some more balance in that area if that's something that stresses you out. Situational stress is when you have fight, flight, or you just freeze. Like somebody introduces you to someone and you don't even remember to stick out your hand and shake hands anymore, or you just freeze. And you're in a moment where somebody was unexpected. And, you know, the typical ones are, it's the old boyfriend, it's the ex, it's the whatever. But what you haven't done is conquer whatever was your disruption from that last situational event or relationship you had with them. And so you don't handle surprise well. And you get maybe overreactive or underreactive. Now, overreactive is you go, oh my God, and you flee to the ladies' room, or you go, oh my gosh, and you say something insulting when you didn't want to. You geek out. I mean, who's geeked out in their life? Man, have I geeked out. So situational stress, it comes. It's fight, it's flight, it's freeze. freezes the geek out. Flight is run to the bathroom. Fight is you just put your nasty voice on and you don't do it well. So what's an awareness you can have around that? Well, first of all, anytime you have a situation where a business relationship breaks up, a partnership in a network marketing business, any of that, you have to go clean up that situation because you will meet those people again. So how do you clean up a situation? Well, it depends on what was going on. But first of all, as much as it sounds, even if you think they're at fault, you need to go in and apologize and say, how do we get this relationship to neutral? Meaning, I know I'm going to meet you on the street. I know I'm going to see you. I know we're going to connect again. I know we're in the same study groups. I know we're here. I know we're there. How do we come back and at least agree to disagree, but not show everybody that we disagree? That's just one thought. It's not the answer, but it's part of that stepping into adulting. Oh, adulting sucks, I know. But when you are an adult, you are responsible to manage your stress. So let's go to the last one. The last one is cortisol stress. And cortisol stress is actually one of those things that stays in your body to the point that you don't even understand that you're overreactive because you're pushing too much adrenaline. So think of all those. Let's go back to a simple example. You're in college and you pull an all-nighter to pass an exam. You are running strictly on adrenaline. Some of us call it fumes, but you're running on adrenaline. And then if you do that again for a consistency of, say, just 2 or 3 days or 4 days, you're actually in a pattern. Stress is a pattern that you cannot break. Now, I lived in a high intense business for 20 years, which meant I was on call 24 hours, not every day. The duties passed off to other people. It rotated. But when I was owner of my own company and manager of a company, I was the last one. So I always knew, even though Susie was on tonight and Joe was on the next night, that if they couldn't handle something, they'd be in touch with me. So I had to be able to answer the phone at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then I had to go into the office and handle whatever the outcomes were for that day. Or I might have gone in at 2 a.m. Who knows? When you're on that cycle, so let's look at all of our great service providers in the world who run on this adrenaline and this cortisol, it can tear down your immune system. So if you want to be a solopreneur and you want to be a great marketer and you want to do everything, you have to look at what that cortisol is doing all the time and find ways to relax. And this is why people do meditation. This is why but sometimes people can't do meditation because it doesn't, they can't unwind enough to get into meditation. That's how bad that type of stress is. So there's a number of ways that I personally use because I know that I was cortisol stressed for many, many years and actually had to sell a business and had to take a year off, basically, to let my body unwind. Well, we don't have that kind of time nowadays. We might have all thought COVID gave us that time, but it didn't. It didn't give us that time to decompress because we were all worried about what's next. And when we're all worried about what's next, I would bet you the cases of anxiety and cortisol stress have risen in the last 2 years as opposed to decreased. So, I'm here today as a marketing and a social media mentor, and I help people with their skills. But I have to say that I'm consistently walking people through that stress that they have because people can't acquire new skills until they've managed the stress. So I actually have benefits I can offer on both sides to manage anxiety. So I'm a healer and I have skills and I've done neurofeedback. My favorite thing to do is to help people be successful in business. But most of the time I find I have to get the broom out and help everybody sweep out the stress When you don't sweep out the stress, it's going to be very, very hard for you to learn something new. It's going to be very, very hard for you to apply something new. So I don't talk about stress to say that it's bad or it's good, because there are sometimes stress serves us well. So adrenaline, when it comes on and we're driving a car and there's crazy people on the road and we need to help ourselves stay focused and in calm, that cortisol can be beneficial. The challenge is we don't have the knowledge to how to turn the faucet off. And then that just accelerates into the next situation and accelerates into the next situation. So stress is absolutely an interference in anybody being successful in business. And I have a lot of things that I can share with you on stress to help you acquire all those new skills that you need. And I have the skills for you too. So if you're really, really ready to manage that stress, not with a drug, not with taking on all sorts of activities that don't seem to be working, so you stress yourself out even more, then you want to come in with someone who can help you really, really, really get down, get dirty, discover why you have that stress, and then you move forward into a successful business. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.